Yeehaw! We are back with another episode of the Daily Vedantic, continuing our series on the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord's Song, and a lesser known theme within the Gita. So this might be more relevant to those coming at this text from the West, is that the title, Song of Our Lord, the Lord's Song. This is not like a hymn in Christian church. This is not a song from us to the Lord. This is not a poem from symbolically, reverently. It is not seen as something that humans are offering to God. Take it or leave it. I'm not here to argue one way or the other, and I don't know if it even really matters because it's still just meant to be symbolic. But this is God giving us a song. This dialogue is between Krishna, a charioteer, and this warrior prince Arjuna, and the charioteer turns out to be the symbolic embodiment of God. And the poem is the advice from this symbolic embodiment of God to this warrior prince having this epic meltdown right before this crazy battle. It's a subtle point, but the Gita is not meant to be read as a song for the Lord, a hymn written by mere mortals for the divine. It is meant to be imbibed, read, digested, contemplated, reflected upon as if it is God itself telling us about our true nature, who we really are. Again, it's a subtle switch, but for someone coming from the West, we largely see almost anything as man-made talking about God. That is the majority of the Old and New Testament. No matter how revered a prophet is, no matter how loved a saint is, it isn't God talking. And that is a subtle but remarkable difference when thinking about this text, what it's supposed to represent. Again, whether you believe it or not. But the angle from which we read it is very different from man talking to man, when it's meant to be read as the divine, the supreme, whatever name you want to call it, the infinite, talking to us mere mortals. The Lord's Song. And I will say right off the bat, when you read it, most of what we read is for confirmation. It's checking in our sports team to confirm our hopes, to confirm our doubts on how the team is doing. You read a good fiction book. You watch an entertaining movie. It's to confirm what you already believe. The protagonist is so obviously the righteous hero. They should win. Okay, they win in the end. That's a great movie with a happy ending. That is reading, listening, watching for confirmation. A text like this, anything that's lasted over 1,000 years that people still read, it's not for confirmation, it's for transformation. It won't fit in the first read. It's a square peg, a round hole, and it's not meant to. You wouldn't be reading it if you didn't have this sense that maybe it'd be beneficial to transform in some way or another. But it's not confirmation that you're picking it up for. It's transformation. So after checking out this series on the Gita through the Daily Vedantic, if you are the 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 that want to read the actual Gita, see what it's really saying, you would do it verse by verse. Within the 3-year course at the ashram, the Gita is 2 years of that 3-year course. And this is a conversation, a dialogue you could read in 30 minutes. There's only 700 verses in this poem. The books with a commentary on that dialogue might span 200 pages, but that's maybe a week or two if you wanted to breeze through it. But that's what you do when you want to read something for confirmation. But if it's a source material from something not of this world, which again, just symbolically is meant to be, it's not literally meant to be, and you don't even need to have that much reverence for it. But if that's the premise, and you get one chapter in, you get 20 verses in, and it doesn't quite make perfect sense to you, the paradoxes might not fit perfectly within the models that we have in our heads. But when we reflect on them, verse by verse, over a longer period of time than a 30-minute read, it starts to shift us. Swami will say all the time that sometimes you need to hear something 100 times before the penny drops. I know within surfing, I would hear this phrase, stay low and go, stay low and go, stay low and go. Probably heard that phrase 60 times from different people. Joseph, my Vedanta teacher, actually said it to me. Probably 20 of those times. No, man, you got to stay low and go, stay low and go. Meant nothing to me. It's like, why do people keep saying this? That it has no relevance to me as a surfer. I need to work on these other things. And then one day, 3 years in, I stayed low and holy shit, did the penny drop. I was like, oh my goodness, that's what they've been saying this whole time. Even something that I will have tried to stay low, but never to the transformative point where I understood the wisdom in that dumb little phrase. I shouldn't say dumb. It sounds dumb. Former me thought it was dumb. Now I'm like, yeah, that's like one of the 5 phrases that every surfer should hear. And that's why when you're reading something for transformation, you just know, okay, this might not make sense the first second, 80th time that I hear this concept. And then the 100th time happens, the penny drops. Your mind is blown. And you say to yourself, it's been here the whole time. The whole time. This song has been sung not just in this 2,500-year-old text. Every lesson from school to work to relationships to nature to surfing to parenting, it's been saying the same thing over and over again. The Lord's been singing this song from every direction for all eternity, for all of us to tune into. But it's not the song that we need to change. It's ourselves if we want to tune into it. That is the lesser discussed theme within the Gita of the Lord's song, the English translation of the Sanskrit words, the Bhagavad Gita. This has been another reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you tomorrow.